What would you define as big? Well, it's all relative, isn't it? In order to know what is big, we need to know what is a normal size. Like, all house cats are smaller than us humans, but there's still small cats and big cats. Not those big cats, I mean like big house cats. Like the bigger than the regular house cat. You get what I mean? The planet Earth may be massive to us, but in terms of planets, it's pretty tiny. So, Bottleman! We thought that Ryujin Blend Dragon was big. We thought that Premium Salafire was big. We thought that Dragogena DX was big. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
They are dwarfed by the Titan that is Cola OG. On this episode of Hyper Talks, a rambly video series where I talk about design, writing, oddities, reviews, basically anything related to my passions and or profession, I'm going to be reviewing the Gigantamax Cola Maru that is Cola OG. Like, look at this thing, it's insane! As a big gimmicks lover, I should be head over heels in love with this thing, right? Right? Well... This is a gigantic Bottleman. Is this thing even a Bottleman anymore, or is it just like a big mecha? That's kind of the reason why I'm a little thrown off about this Bottleman. Dragogena was pushing it, but I do like him. But this giant twat face here decides to stand here like he's above everyone. Well, he is, but you get what I mean. He thinks he's so special. I'm the special needs boy. I'm the one who's special. Point is, the fact that he's so unconventional kind of rubs me the wrong way. Is it just me? I think it's just me. I do like him, but I kind of don't. You try and figure that sentence out. I can't be arsed. This Titan has 5 power, 4 speed, 4 control, 6 stability, and 6 capacity? You what? Talk about overpowered. Do you think he's compensating for something? I know. The fact that he's unwieldy as hell. This bird dragon thing is one of the most awkward Bottlemen I've ever had to use, because it's so big. How do you manhandle this bastard thing? Don't give me that look, you know you're too big for me. But yes, he does match his stats, even if he is a bit awkward to use. He's got some strong options with the big caps and the vertical shots. He does have many caps to shoot after all. His massive feet and tail do make him very stable, but the speed and control stats I can give and take. This is not the fastest Bottleman to use, given you have to swap triggers every time you run out of ammo. You're essentially jumping from one Bottleman to another. The leg cores have some good control, but the top cores I'm not too sure of. It is an overpowered beast for sure, but I don't know about the speed and control stats. Maybe just one number lower. These are all just made up numbers anyways. Takara just kind of pulls them out their arse and says, yeah, that conveys it well enough, I guess. Even if a Bottleman's stats don't actually line up with their performance, they're still going to do it anyways because they want to power scale and power creep and be like, oh yeah, this Bottleman's better than the others, you better buy it, even though it technically isn't. It's kind of shit in comparison actually, but oh yeah, who cares? How about I show you how he really fights? Okay, so this guy has a lot of options. Let's start from the top down, shall we? Starting with the core, then the arms, then the legs, then the tail, then the feet. Yeah? Okay, let's start. Let's snap, crackle and pop. Let's green egg and ham it. Let's do it to it. The big cap core is a bitch. Everything on this fucker's a bitch, let's be real. The big cap core. It's a core that shoots big caps. Who would have guessed? Big cap rims in this case. Big caps are pretty versatile god caps, whose centers can be filled with other kinds of caps. Metal, normal with a weight booster in it, speed, and light. Just the rim itself even can be used as a god cap. This figure kind of proves that anyways, because it only comes with big cap rims, it doesn't come with any sort of caps to fill the centers with. You get what I mean? I feel like they aren't that much stronger compared to a normal cap, but it is bigger, and therefore will have a much easier time knocking down targets. Although, with Cola O's big cap core being so high up, yeah, you're likely to shoot over the target. To be fair, you're probably not going to be shooting bottles at this close a range, but it's still weird, isn't it? If it shoots and has enough time to land it back down, then yeah, it will hit, but it's weird that it's this high up, isn't it? If I move the targets that far back, and have Caller O this far back, then yeah, he hits. This guy's better at long range than close up, let's say that. I can see this being pretty fun on a Draggart combo. Having access to 3 big caps is such an improvement over Draggart's 1 that you have to reload weirdly. Just slide them into the big cap magazine and shoot away. No awkward fiddling with the launcher, you just have it as a core. But there is one big downside to this core. It can only use big caps. Normal caps are just too small for this core to really use properly. In a head-to-head game, I can see this being pretty annoying. There's so many caps all over the place, yet you can only use the big boys. You see all of those bottle caps everywhere? Yeah, your opponent can swipe them up as much as they want, but you can't use them because you've got to use your special big boy caps. So this is kind of a downside to the core. But I guess that's why Caller O has more cores than just his big one. This big core does have barrel access since it has a barrel hole on its front. But as of writing this script, recording this audio, editing this video, there is no big cap barrel for the big cap cores to use. Weird that, it has a magazine and it has a barrel port, but there's no barrel. Maybe we will get a big cap barrel at some point, who knows? Bottleman G is kind of dying at this rate, I don't know. I guess you could say this big core is a big shot. Now it's set to be a big shot. The arms are pretty huge. They're very long, aren't they? But what's inside them is a small cap launcher. Just like a basic one that can only hold 1 cap. Unlike Kuro ULGs, which can hold up to 3 caps. Small caps. Speaking of Kuro's small cap launcher, it's compatible with these arms, and vice versa. So you can have Caller O with 2 small cap launchers. It's pretty odd to me that Caller O only comes with 1 small cap launcher, leaving the other arm pretty barren. It wouldn't have killed you to give us a second small cap launcher and small cap Takara, but oh well, it is what it is, I guess. Takara wants us to buy more Bottlements and then we fill the void in his arm. Given what you get in the set, just 1 small cap launcher, it can go into either hand. So if you want it on the left, you can. If you want it on the right, you can. It can go into either slot. It's not like one arm is built for 1 small cap launcher and the other arm's built for Kuro's. It's fine. You can do either or. Whichever you like best. It's kind of obvious, but I felt like I should point it out anyways. But what about the small cap itself? I don't have the best opinions on this God Cap. They're less effective than the big caps. Or hey, just the normal caps. But I guess it is nice that they are here. I don't really see them being that terribly useful, but they work, I guess. You know what, these things keep surprising me every time I use them. Yet again, my Ribena bottle is light as shit. This is also like point blank range as well, so... You have better options on this one guy itself, let alone the whole God Cap system. The arms themselves are kinda jank. They only really work well as a grip for the small cap launcher. You can't really hold them when trying to shoot Caller O's main core. It works a bit better if you're using a standard size core, but still. These wing grips aren't really meant to be used as wing grips, they're more so mainly for show. These arms are weird, that's what I'm saying. Caller O, the only Bottleman to get twatted in the face by its own bottle cap. Oh god, those legs! They're as big as Sakura's! So this is one gigantic foot part, with each leg being a vertical core. So these legs can shoot vertical shots. I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. These are the best cores on Caller OG. They are lower to the ground, so they'll be able to hit smaller targets with ease. They use normal sized caps, so you don't have to worry about using the correct sized cap, like with the other 2 cores that I mentioned. The rolling shots that vertical cores make are just better overall, and these vertical cores have rubber drive strips, meaning they are faster and stronger. They are kind of weird to hold, but overall, I love these cores. They are weird to reload, however. They reload from the bottom, using these ramps to roll the caps up into the leg cores. These do feel like side mounts, like they're extra weapons that you would use, and yet they are the best cores that Caller O has. Huh. All vertical shooters suffer from a lack of capacity, but at least you get 2 shots here since they are 2 cores. But aiming is gonna be a little dodgy. Since the legs are spread apart, don't think about it, it means each shot travels along a different path. You're gonna have to shift this massive thing around to re-aim your legs. You get what I mean. You have to aim twice. That's made a lot easier thanks to the vertical caps. Normal caps have a rim on one side, meaning when the vertical core uses them, the cap drifts off to one side. Vertical caps, however, have rims on both sides, meaning that they roll straight. While any normal bottle cap is great for these cores, given the fact that the speed kind of negates the drift if the target's close enough, the vertical cap is the most optimal. It really tears through any target it faces. There's not really a lot I can say about the vertical caps, outside of making vertical cores even better because of the vastly improved accuracy, aka no drifting. These legs good. They're a good pair of legs. They're a great pair of legs, just like Sakura's. God, they're hard to shoot. I fucking missed. The tail is actually pretty easy to explain. It can store extra ammo. It can hold big, normal, and small caps, like the set that comes with Caller O. It's pretty handy to say, have an extra big cap or vertical cap on standby just in case you need to quickly reload. The tail isn't the most interesting feature on this guy, but it's definitely a very useful one. Especially since reloading Caller O can be awkward depending on which core you're reloading. Again, big cap launcher can only use big caps, so having 1 extra wouldn't hurt. Maybe 2 extra, who knows. Last but not least, the feet. What? They're just feet. What could they do? Why does even the feet have gimmicks? So yeah, these heel pieces can be rotated around to give Caller O a downward tilt. I'm guessing so then the Bottle Man has an easier time hitting lower to the ground targets, given the fact that the main core is so high up, and then the small cap launch is even higher up. It does have a problem with overshooting, and I guess this helps. It didn't knock down the other one. Does the head have gimmicks? No! It's the only part of Caller OG that doesn't have a gimmick? Huh, I'm actually shocked. While all of the different gimmicks and features that Caller O has is pretty cool to some extent, this guy is pretty janky to hold, let's just be real. How do you hold him? From the grips on the vertical cores? That doesn't really feel right to me on the vertical cores themselves. Those grips do work okay when shooting the big core, but only okay. Like, there has to be a better way, right? I'm not used to the grip being underneath the main core, if that makes sense. They're usually either at the side or above. The way that I hold onto the leg cores is that I grip the sides while also using the connectors. That connects the legs to the arms as a sort of finger rest? The footage is showing you what I mean. Using the wings for the small cap launcher is fine, but it feels kinda iffy since the wings are only attached by like a peg. You could pop it out very easily. Also, this guy is very cap dependent. You need small caps for the arms, and you need big caps for the main core. Sure, vertical cores can use any normal bottle cap, but the caps drift! So if you want more optimal shooting, you better load those vertical caps. Despite the fact that he has like 4 cores on him by default, 5 if you add an extra small cap launcher, he's very limiting. You'd think, oh, all of those cores mean I have a lot of different options, but really, you kind of don't. Yeah, you do have options, but then once you run out, you need to get that specific ammo back. It's not the worst thing in the world, but like, a regular bottle man can just use any sort of ammo. Cola O needs his specific ammo, which could be annoying, I guess. The point is, he is very limiting. The TLDL of all this is that he is janky and surprisingly limiting. Those are Cola O's biggest downsides. So that's like 5 gimmicks and 3 god caps talked about. But guess what? There's more! This guy can be used in custom builds! Yes, I had to dedicate an entire section of the video just to the fact that everything on him is not just built for him. You can use the head, big core, arms, and legs as parts for custom builds. While the head is kinda useless, to be fair, most head parts are, the rest of the body parts are pretty huge abilities to add on to normal bottlemen. The big cap core can give any bottleman from G or DX the ability to fire big caps. Oh yeah, you don't need just a G power core in order to use the big cap launcher. You can just straight up just use the big cap core on any bottleman. Granted, the trigger can't be swapped around, but I feel like that's the catch. You want to use the big cap core? Well, you have to use its trigger too. That's the downside. Kinda like DX's core. You have to use the long trigger to use the long core. It just makes sense to me. Let's be real though, there's only really like one other different trigger that you'd want to swap around anyways. All of Bottleman G's triggers are pretty much the same outside of if it has magazine access. The gigantic arms can give Bottlemen small cap launchers to use, just like Kuro's arms, but stupidly long. And the legs might be the most overpowered foot part, leg part, whatever you want to call it, since they give you 2 vertical drive cores on top of whatever core you're already using on top. And the tilting downwards thing. Yeah, that too. Everything here works with your normal ass bottleman. And you know what? I love it. Despite the fact that I feel like Cola O isn't really a bottleman, it's more like a bottle mecha. The fact that his parts can be used like any others is great. I was so ready for him to just be this specialized unit, but no, he shares. Sharing is caring after all. Cola O can wear someone else's core. Dragger could wear the big cap core. Deca V Tiger could walk around with those Daisy Dukes. Bikinis on top. Triple vertical cores. My, Kolamaru, you didn't skip arm day today, did you? Just like, look at these things. What is going on here? Although there is one thing about Cola O that does confuse me. The feet attach onto the legs the same way a foot part would for a normal Bottleman core. I have to ask, why? There's no real foot part that you'd want to attach onto the bottom of Cola O's legs. Maybe Tansatan or Val has DXs so you can roll this bitch back and forth, but you do need to take the tail off to do that. And then the foot itself. You're gonna tell me that this is something that you'd want? I guess you can give any DX/G Bottleman that tilt feature, but like, come on, look at this thing. It's a Bottleman with one giant foot. Fucker's big foot, alright. I am just very impressed that all of Cola O's parts, even the feet for some reason, can be used on normal Bottlemen. I really like that. I was impressed when Dragogena DX could do it, and I'm impressed with Cola O doing it as well. Is it impractical? Yes. But is it fun? Yes. What is with this Kolamaru Energy DX looking asshole? Oh yeah. It's finally time to rant about the thing that I hate the most about this Bottleman. Why is it Kolamaru? Yeah, this isn't just some second Coca-Cola themed Bottleman. This is basically Kolamaru G. How do I know this? Well, first of all, look at it. Look at it. Second of all, The name is a pun. Maru in Japanese means round, essentially. Something that is circular, something that is round. What is the Japanese word for king? O. In Roman text, it'd be written like this. It's just an O. What is the shape of an O? Oh, I know, it's round. The O in Cola O is round, just like Cola Maru. Cola Maru, Cola King. The King Cola Maru. This thing is Cola Maru. And well, why? This thing has no resemblance to Cola Maru whatsoever. Sure, the head, colour scheme, and wings on the arms do. In fact, the wings are pretty much the same as Cola Maru Energy DX's. There's some slight differences, but they're practically the same. But I'm on about the actual build of this guy. All of the Cola Maru looking features on this guy were added later. The main design of the Bottle Man being this huge titan with multiple cores is not Cola Maru themed at all. It is a giant dragon. Do you know what this could have been? A Drago evolution, or Dragogeena's G incarnation. It's a dragon, so of course it would fit the two dragons better. Heck, this thing could have been Blast Boss G. The Big Cap core is essentially an evolution to Dragot's Big Cap launcher. Plus, with Dragot G basically being the mascot for the God Cap system, it'd be very fitting for him to have an evolution that uses a bunch of God Caps. And well, since it does shoot a load of different caps, it fits Dragogeena pretty well too. Dragogeena DX's whole deal is the fact that he can fire up to 4 shots at once. Twisting that idea into having multiple cores would fit nicely as an alternate take on the golden orange dragon. Orange as in the fruit, not the colour. Cola OG would have been perfect as a Drago evolution. But nope, it's Cola Maru. Because I guess Takara wanted to. It's a recognizable name, even though they renamed him to Cola O. Sure, there's rubber drive strips inside the leg cores, those drive strips being a Cola Maru staple. But like, that doesn't cut it for me. If rubber drive strips equal Cola Maru, then Bottle Sphinx G should also be a Cola Maru. There's nothing about Cola O, in terms of its gimmicks and features, that makes me think of Cola Maru. The aesthetical similarities can be added onto the base. You could easily turn this into Drago and it'd work even better. Its aesthetical similarities to Cola Maru are just that, aesthetical. That's something you can add on later. This Bottle Man makes me think of Drago. They turned Cola Maru into a dragon audience. Funniest shit I've ever seen. Here's Dragon Cola Maru. Now replace Dragon with Pickle and you get the joke. But we're stuck with Cola Maru G here. So outside of me not liking the fact that it's Cola Maru themed, he is pretty cool and imposing, but you can tell he's way more function over form. Fucker's got thunder thighs though, but that's because his legs are literally vertical cores. One thing that slightly irritates me is that he has wing claws and full-on hands. Yeah, he has claws on his wings that can open and close, while also having hand pieces. So does he have like 4 hands? Taking off the hands just makes him look a bit better to me. He has the ability to shoot out small caps from his hands. I feel that's pretty cool. It makes him look more like a bird too, because you know, it's Cola Maru. Cola Maru's a phoenix. But he does look like he's missing something like this. Most bottle men do have wings and arms, it's just kind of weird that the wings also have hands. I guess it is a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. That's kind of like the whole figure to me, but whatever. He has a pretty cool design, if a bit goofy. But I just can't get over the fact that this thing should not be Cola Maru. It should be Drago. I know it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but it irritates me, so I mention it. Oh yeah, Josh is autistic, that's why he's upset that the Cola Maru themed Bottle Man is not Cola Maru. I like him, but he should have been Drago. That's it. So, not Drago Evolution G, how would I rank you? I hate that you're themed after Cola Maru, but that doesn't really matter in terms of how good of a bottle man you are. Like, performance-wise. You look like a 7 to me. Yeah, 7 out of 10. While a lot of the components are pretty cool, all of it together just makes this guy kinda janky and unwieldy. The big cap core can only use big caps. The small cap launcher can only use the small caps. Both of those cores are very high up, so they shoot over standard Bottleman targets. It's good for any sort of actual bottles being used as targets, like my Ribena bottles. But like, you know, the vertical cores are awkward to load and shoot. This guy is very unwieldy compared to other ridiculous bottlemen, like Royal Griffin DX and Dragogena DX. But is he cool? Oh fuck yeah, he's cool! However you want to deliver that line. I'm just having a hard time recommending this guy to any sort of newcomer or casual fan. Yes, he big, he silly, he powerful, and that was enough for me to cave in and get him. He's a blast to use, but he's too big. This thing barely registers as a Bottleman to me because of how unconventional he looks and feels. You're getting this guy because of the novelty of how giant it is. But let's be real. This is very much a case of, I like it, but I don't at the same time. Usually, I am all for stupidly weird Bottlemen, but this guy doesn't really do it for me as much as I think it should. Maybe this is my limit. Maybe this is too much. Plus, I still don't like the fact that it's Kolomaru G and not some sort of Dragot evolution or Dragogena G, but whatever. Is it fun to wield a Titan in battle? Well, of course! But practically, I still prefer any other Kolomaru over this thing. What do you think, though? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you like Cola OG? Let me know in the comments below. Cola OG is a Bottleman that I should like, but don't. He makes me feel conflicted in a way that's hard to describe. He is cool, don't get me wrong, but he's just not fully clicking with me. I'm sorry if this review is kinda messy and all over the place, but that's just how this guy makes me feel. Guess it's kinda fitting then, isn't it? I have no idea how to feel about this thing. If you came to me looking for a professional review, I'm sorry. This is the wrong place. I hope you had fun though. It's the end of the review, so remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. It's important feedback for my content and helps me out in the YouTube algorithm and all that shit. You know what it is at this point, hopefully. It lets me know if you like this content and if I should carry on making it. It's as simple as that. And to help me reach out more people who might also be interested in this, yeah, you get it. Follow me on Twitter at J5TheHyperHorse to keep up to date with whatever projects I'm working on at the time, or tease upcoming content, or shitpost. You know, just see what I do. You can also subscribe with the bell notification set to all, so then you can see whenever I make a community post as well, because sometimes I throw my tweets into the community post. Yes, I did all of that in one breath. I also have a Blue Sky, which is J5TheHyperHorse, but I barely use it because the website is barely active. If you have any fanarts to send me, like maybe of my Bottleman custom, Roy Speeder, along with his user, Rena Beena, maybe of my mascot Sakura Yui, or anything else relating to me, send them to me on my Twitter, at J5TheHyperHorse, and I will feature them within the next Hyper Talks I am editing at the time. Don't forget to check out my video game, Armatolum Showdown, the visual novel with a battle system. If you like Bottleman, you will love Armatolum, because it's just straight up better. Yes, I will die on this hill. Armatolum is better than Takara's shitty Bottleman. There's also the proof of concept prototype, Project Dreamshot, to try out. It's a different style of shoot 'em up. It is an experimental prototype, so everything is basically a rough draft. Feedback on the project would be pretty nice actually. It'd be wonderful. Both of these games are fun and cool, so you should like play them or something, I don't know. And with all that said and done, this has been J5TheHyperHorse, and yes, I know my VTuber is shit. I'll see you whenever next. Till then.